best year of your life,
Yeah.
but also the worst year of your life.
Yeah. That was the best year and the worst night.
Shortly after the fight, Collins' handlers charged that Resto's gloves had been tampered with, that some of the required padding had been secretly and illegally removed, adding extra impact to Resto's punches. The New York State Athletic Commission apparently was suspicious, and they impounded Luis Resto's glove.
We'll never know how far Billy Collins could have gone. You want to give him the benefit of the doubt. He was an undefeated prospect.
It would be an entertaining fight. It would be a tough fight, a lot of punching going on, and in the end, Billy would win. It seemed to me he would always win.
It was the right fight at the right time against the right opponent.
The night of June 16, 1983, Billy Ray Collins and Luis Resto met in the ring of Madison Square Garden as the co-feature to Roberto Duran, Davey Moore.
The night of June 16, 1983 was magical.
It was a big night. Roberto Duran was fighting Davey Moore for the junior middleweight championship.
Every single seat in Madison Square Garden was filled.
Resto was 28-2. In his corner was Panama Lewis, one of the big-name trainers at the time.
Louis Resto was a fighter who was just rough and tough. On any night, Louis could give anybody in that division a fight.
I saw him as a journeyman, as a tough guy that you prove yourself against to get that shot.
Very effective by Collins.
Billy Collins was promoted by Top Rank, among the leaders in boxing promotion.
They were grooming Billy Collins to become a superstar.
Man, he was tremendous. I mean, he was a great-looking kid. He had all the moves. He punched like a mule. I mean, if this kid can make it through, we got a gold mine.
Resto walked into the ring with 1 ounce of padding removed from each glove, and plaster was also put in his wraps. For 10 rounds, the fighters traded. Collins' eyes slowly started to swell.
Countering beautifully, Jake. Yes.
See people hanging on the rope. It's a tough night.
Good exchange. Good left hook, right hand by Billy Collins. Collins, right. Good left hook. Good right hand. Good right hand exchange.
Woo! Big go. Oh, he got hit. He got hurt with that one. It staggered him.
Resto staggered him with the right hand.
He hit him again. He staggered him with a...
Seems to have a swelling over that left eye, Jake, or a cut. I don't know what.
They're both tough fighters. Let's see if they can grab.
I'm trying to. And evidently, there's going to be an upset here. It's the entire either. 13-0 is in jeopardy tonight, Jake. You think? I know it is. Let's listen.
With the doctored gloves, he stayed as close to Billy Collins as he could, round after round, pounding Collins as often as he could. Even through all of this, Billy Collins still remained, swinging that left hook until the end of the contest.
That's the only way. He took a lot of a little too late.
Yeah, he's getting hit even.
That's a tremendous pace. Tremendous pace. Collins is taking a beating now, Jake. Yes. I mean, a real beating. He's been taking
now he has very little defect.
Junior middleweight bout. Corner of Billy Collins. That blemish, the perfect record, seems to be in jeopardy tonight. And where I see it, look at this. Final round coming up. For me, can't lose. Junior middleweight fight. Low, but doesn't mean anything.
What a game fighter he is.
Yes, see it. Bump.
Wow, look at this.
Jack Garrett throws back. Look at this. You don't want to stop. With 19, with 17. I bet they get up and give him a big hand the whole place. The end of the fight.
As Resto went to congratulate Collins, he shook hands with Billy Sr. who immediately noticed that the glove was missing padding and called for the commissioner.
Resto crosses the ring and gives Colin the Judas kiss. As he's turning away, you can see Billy Ray's father's hand.
I don't think Billy Collins Sr., from what he told me, even thought that there might have been something wrong with the gloves until the very end of the fight. Otherwise, he would have pointed it out. It was at the end of the fight, when Resto went over to congratulate him, that he grabbed onto the gloves and held on, and he started screaming for the inspectors, "These gloves, these gloves."
You can't hold it, Commissioner. All the pads on him damn glove. All the pads on him goddamn glove.
What's fascinating is to look at who Louis Resto looks at. Not looking down surprised at the gloves or wondering what's going on or looking at Collins and saying, "What are you talking about?" But immediately turning to his co-conspirator and waving him over. Panama just jumps in and starts yelling, "Those are the gloves you gave us! Those are the gloves you gave us!"
That's the glove they gave us! That's the glove they gave us! That's the glove they gave us!
They didn't want to take him off. They wanted to go out and I says, "No, take him off. Take him off the glove. I want to see those gloves. I got a complaint here. I want to see those gloves." When I saw the gloves and I handed it to it, I knew there was something wrong with the gloves. There's something missing. Absolutely.
And the decision was unanimous in favor of Luis Resto, but shortly after the fight, Collins' handlers charged that Resto's gloves had been tampered with, that some of the required padding had been secretly and illegally removed, adding extra impact to Resto's punches. The New York State Athletic Commission apparently was suspicious, and they impounded Luis Resto's gloves.
I saw 2 pairs of boxing gloves. Two had R on it and 2 had C on it. I observed a hole in the left and right glove that was marked R. Any layman could tell that the glove was tampered with.
All right, it's June 29th, 1983. I'm at the New York State Athletic Commission. Purposes of this tape to record a hearing, Louis Resto versus Billy Collins controversy.
The hearing, it was almost a foregone conclusion. I think it was, in some ways, it was more for the process than it was for the discovery of a truth.
I called one of my photographers, Ben Sharav, and I said, "You know what I want you to do? I know Billy's staying at the Southgate Towers. I want you to get there early in the morning. Bring your camera." And he took shots. I said to Ben, "I wish you had the kid open his eyes." He said they were open.
The next day, when he got off the plane, his father was leading him. He was blind.
He had some sunglasses on, and he literally had to raise the skin around his eyes to take the sunglasses off.
It was like a horror picture, you know, and I guess I looked away or something, and I remember the first thing he said, "I'm your husband, look at me."
But it seemed like every time it hit me, you know, I could feel knots come on my head, and my eyes already started to swell about the 4th or 5th round, and I just couldn't figure it out, and he hit me some good body shots, and I'd never been hit like that before in my life.
Why in the world didn't you go down, or did you think about quitting?
Well, about the 7th round, I got hit with a good shot in the rib, and I thought my rib was broke, you know, but it crossed my mind, you know, to go ahead and take a breather there, you know, to squat down and get some breath, you know. But, you know, I guess pride or something, you know, told me not to go down and just keep going. And that's what I tried to do.
He didn't think he could work. He couldn't do anything. He couldn't hold a job. He had cataracts. We fought all the time.
I did see him one night, hit her, and it was a uppercut that shouldn't have happened, that's for sure.
And I ended up moving in with my parents because I was afraid he was going to kill me. And I still loved him. For the longest, he would just sit in the apartment and smoke and drink and trash the apartment by himself. He wasn't Billy anymore.
Nearly 9 months after the fight, in the early morning hours of March 7th, 1984, estranged from his wife and infant daughter, Billy Collins Jr.'s downward spiral came to a tragic end.
He was depressed of hearing that he would never fight again.
Billy and the guy from next door, a guy named Johnny Duke, come in, and I could tell, you know, Billy was a little drunk.
There was a bar, not far from the house where you could shoot pool, and he wanted us to go. We chose not to go, and he left mad.
After they left, of course, Billy beat the crap out of Johnny and got the keys from him. And he told me that Billy looked at him and said that I'm just going to kill you, or I'm just going to kill us, or something.
It's like everything was taken that night in the ring.
Irish Billy Collins was 22 years old.